Okay.
Hello, innovative teachers. In today's episode, we're talking about everyone's favorite season, pumpkin spice. Just kidding. We're talking about fall and all the fun STEM activities that you can do with your students. If it's one thing elementary teachers love, it's a good themed activity. We all like that around here. And we're talking about the fun things to build in the fall with your class. Also, if you're already loving our podcast, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review. This helps spread the word to other innovative teachers who would love to connect to our community. Tune in for a great episode full of tons of useful information. We can't wait to learn and grow with you.
All right. Awesome job there, Naomi. We always kind of freak out about the intros, but I feel like we're getting better at this.
We are. We always try to do one take. That's our goal, especially now that we have video of this.
Yeah. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves today out of all the days.
Yes.
I would say.
Yeah. And if you guys are watching this, you might see a little dog run around. So it's fun to watch the video.
It's fun. It's a little bit more fun than listening because, you get to see our faces, our reaction. And then, dogs. Sophie probably eventually. She's in bed. It's past her bedtime, so she is not.
Oh, I hope people can see her. She's so cute.
She's something.
So cute.
So today we're talking about all those fun fall projects, and I love doing seasonal projects, and I feel like most STEM teachers do. And usually, when teachers are introducing something new like STEM, it's through a seasonal activity. I still remember the first one I did when I was doing, my not even my student teaching. It was just a class where you had to do so many hours with a teacher, and the teacher I was doing it with, they're like, "Oh, you should do a fun activity for the fall." And that the first one I did, and I will never forget this, was the apple basket, and it was with kindergartners. And I put that in there. I can't really take credit for this one because I didn't come up with it. Someone gave me a book at the time. They're like, "Hey, this is a STEM book. Just pick one out of here." It was one of my classmates, and it was really fun. It was really frustrating and fun and everything. And I loved it from the very first time I did it, and the kids' reaction and faces. And my professor came and saw it, and they were pumped too. So
what do they do? What do they do with his apple baskets? What do they do?
Yeah, I should explain that. So
Yeah.
I kind of review what an apple basket looks like, how we can have things hold weight. How back in the day they created these baskets basically so they didn't have to carry them by hand. So their job is to create an apple basket out of I did paper plate, note cards, aluminum foil, tape, popsicle sticks, straws that can carry at least 3 apples.
Like real apples?
Like real apples.
Whoa.
Yeah, I do really small ones because then they can hold 3. But by the end of the week, they're holding more and dropping them. So by the end of the week, you got all these bruised, really gross.
Do you make applesauce the next week?
We should because they look gross. I would just throw them away because the kids would be like, "Can we have one?" I'm like, "No, they're disgusting at this point. They've been rolling all over the dirty STEM floor." We don't want to do that. Yeah, it's one of those I always do, but I always tell people I can't really take credit for. I don't really feel right making a TPT product for it because, I got it for some book.
Yeah, that's a cool one though.
Yeah, I don't even remember what the book's called to tell you guys. I feel bad about that, but it was a random book I got from another person in my class. So
cool.
That was my first one. So I always talk about that for the fall one. So something else that I kind of do that's fun with kids. I haven't decided if I'm making one of these for my store. Is a pumpkin drop. So it's a lot like your egg drop project, except it's a pumpkin.
Oh.
And it's fun too because more than likely there's one kid that because I stand up on my table, which I can touch my ceiling with my table, so I have high tables, and I drop it, one of them breaks, and then the kids want to see what the inside of a pumpkin looks like, and we talk about what's on the inside of a pumpkin. So that one's fun because you're talking about what can protect the pumpkin or lessen the blow, kind of like you would with the egg drop. And I think it's just a little bit more friendly and a little bit less messy because when a pumpkin splits, it just splits, whereas an egg goes everywhere.
Oh, that's a cool one. So do the little pumpkins break easily? I've never tried.
I used little ones last year, and it was harder to break them, but they still broke.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. It just they could take a little bit more force. So the best ones to do the medium sized ones, but and then once one would break, I would show the kids on the inside of it, and they always get so excited when you drop it, and they're like, "Oh, did it break?" Because usually their package covers it up so you can't see it.
Yeah.
And I'd take it out, and I'd be like, "It has a crack, but it's not broken yet." And then we would keep on trying with it. And
I love that. That's really awesome.
Yeah, that one is one of my favorites just because like the kids get really excited about that one. I haven't just like I want to do it this year and I want to put it on my TPT store. I don't think I'll get it out by the time this episode's released. But if you look, you might get lucky, and I might have gotten that far. So one that I am releasing on my store, and I'm actually gonna have to work after we're done recording this episode. I'm doing 3 easy fall STEM projects. So these are kind of like your low prep, fun fall ones that are either it can be in packet form or it can be in Google Slides, which I think is nice for remote
Yes.
learning or in classroom, depending on what you're doing, because everyone's different right now.
Yes.
And in those 3 challenges in there are one of them's a rake, which I always have the kids like create rakes and try to rake like little beads,
Oh,
like
like
just
little pony beads?
yeah, like little like ones like that. And like sometimes if like the class is pretty advanced too, and this is like for your choosing, like I'll put like other materials in there. I'm like, well, when I'm raking my yard, I don't want sticks. I just want the leaves, because like if I want to jump in the pile, I don't want a stick, ramming into my side. So that's kind of like for more advanced, like that part of it. But the rake one's fun, and it's like I usually use like spoons, straws, popsicle sticks, tape. Kids like that one. Um, One that my wife came up with, and I think I posted a picture of it today, like kind of teasing people, but like creating a fall jacket for your favorite animal, like your favorite stuffed animal, your favorite toy.
Oh.
So that one I think is kind of fun just because my wife says like, well, a lot of your projects aren't very cutesy, or like they're not cutesy for girls. And I'm like, well, if I can relate it to something in STEM, I would do it. And, fall jackets serve a great purpose because they, make sure they keep us from being cold, from wind. So can that jacket stay on your animal and keep it warm? Is it measured correctly that it actually covers your animal in case it rains or something else happens? So just protecting it fully. And
Yes.
I think the kids get to do kind of like a cool design component there with like I always get, as a STEM teacher, I don't know if then this might just be me, and I was going to ask you this. I always get like a bunch of like random cloth from people, like little pieces of cloth,
I
like when people
haven't gotten that one, but I
know.
might now because I just taught my fourth graders how to sew.
So you think you'll
And
get a lot now?
I think
Yeah.
I might now, but no, I don't get that one a lot.
See, I always get a lot of those, and I'm like, I have a lot of it. What is something fun I could do? And I mean, even if you want to use other material with that, like paper, you can make like a paper
Yeah.
one. But like, I just have a lot of cloth. So like on my Instagram, I had a picture of like a little ducky I could have in my room that we use to test things.
Oh,
I made a little red jacket for them, and
that's
that
cute.
one. Yeah, so I was like, it's a little bit different, and from what I'm used to doing, I think it's still kind of fun, and it's fall theme and a little educational. So,
Well, I
but
know my little dog, he was scared of the rain last night, so he would have benefited from a little jacket. He didn't know what rain was.
what a
It's
fun STEM project right there. You could go
yes.
tell your kids that, and then they could make a jacket for them or like some kind of device to keep them dry.
Yeah, because he was
That's
really
a good
scared
one.
of it. He was like crying, and he's like 1 year old. He was crying because of the rain.
Right. See, I think that'd be, and that's what I was going to kind of say at the end of this segment, but I'm going to say it now. The best way to come up with projects is what's happening around you. You know what I mean? Like that right there, you could take a picture of your dog, and then your kids would be pumped to like actually help someone, or something in the world, and they're like, oh, we could actually create, a jacket for
Yeah.
our teacher's dog. Like that's pretty cool. Or like, maybe you make it even more open ended in some kind of device that just keeps it dry.
Yes.
So I think that's so important. And the last one in that packet is umbrella, which I know it rains more in the spring, but I feel like at least here in the fall, like it rains a decent amount. So it's a fun one to do. And like I've done it like the last 3 years, and every time it's always raining like on that day that we go to test. So I'm like, it's perfect. Like go walk outside, see if it protects you. And they usually come in, they're all wet. They're like, it didn't work. And I'm like,
It
that's
didn't work.
okay.
You start laughing.
Like, "Ah." And I have a door like right by my room, or the room I was in, because like now obviously they switch things around, which I talked about. But yeah, so those are like the 3 things that I'm releasing tomorrow. So
Yay, that's awesome.
yeah, so I'm really excited about those ones just because I like theme projects, and like for me, it's nice to have those things in case I have a sub.
Yes.
And I'm even gonna do like a blog post, which I'll link like this to it and other things about like fall STEM just in general, because I feel like as teachers we try to really place an emphasis on using new things through seasonal activities. So
Yes.
just doing that, I feel like, you know, if you want to use something we're going to say today, that's great. But if maybe you come up with like your own problem at your house, that's great too. Just get the kids, you know, thinking different, you know, even if that is task cards. Like I know I got task cards that are themed.
Mm-hmm.
But that is 100% up to you. And I just feel like there's so many fun activities you can do in the fall. And fall is my favorite season,
Me
hands
too.
down. So I love fall. I love football. I love chili. I love everything that comes with it, I feel like. So it's fun to do all that stuff. So what are some activities that you like to do in the fall?
Um, so I like to get inspired by cruising down the Target dollar spot area and finding little cheap thingies. And sometimes I'll just come up with a project. Sometimes I'll just buy stuff and I end up not making a project yet, or I try it and it didn't work out. So what I think it was last year, I was walking down and I found those spider rings. You know, you would get those at like birthday parties or class parties, those little cheesy spider rings.
Yep.
And they're all colorful. I'm like, oh, I have to do something with this. So I did a STEM project for spider pulleys to help do simple machines. So the kids have to
Ooh.
create a pulley to pull the spider up the web. So I tied some string and then I helped I had those prepared and it's tied on a pencil. And then they had to create the pulley system that would pull it instead of just yanking up the string. Like, I did it. I'm like, no, you have to actually turn the pulley. But they could create different types of pulleys to pull it up the web. And I have a little web that they use. So the kids really like that one. That one was really fun. And again, great for a sub.
Right.
Yeah, it's so
I
cute.
love that. I love that. I would have never like that's what I love about like these kind of episodes because you would like I would have never ever in a million years thought about doing a project like now I'm like, man, I wish I'd have thought of that. That's a really cool
I'll
idea. And
send it
it's
to you.
cheap. It's cheap.
Yes.
It you know, it's effective because the kids are learning about those simple machines. Like it just has so much to it and it's fun. And it's just great. Like I think it's funny that like too, like everyone gets their inspiration in different ways.
Yes.
The fact that you go to Target and just do that is now I feel like I'm gonna try that and that's not gonna work. I'm just gonna go there with my wife and she's gonna buy things and I'll be like, why do we come here?
I'm a sucker for Target and Dollar Tree. I'll just like walk in
Yes.
the aisles. I'm so weird.
That's my wife always that's how she likes to do that kind of stuff. For me, when I think of projects, I will just like sit here and I will just like Google random words and I'm like, oh, you know what to do? And like she always think that's weird that I can sit there and just do that. And like I'll just have like a notepad in front of me and I'll just like put
Yes.
words.
Yes.
And she's like, you're crazy. And I'm like, everyone's different. So
Yeah. Everyone gets inspired differently. Another one I wanted to use, you know, those little pumpkin candies, the candy corns.
yes. Mm-hmm.
So those are kind of hard to find, but I was kind of worried about allergies, which you could do this with the candy corns, just knowing your class. But I used like Unifix cubes and I did a pumpkin bridge. So they had to create a bridge to see how many pumpkins can hold. So we use Unifix cubes because the little top of it, we said, oh, it's the stem. And I'm all, these are Minecraft pumpkins.
Oh
And
yeah, there you go.
they are square or they're 3D and the kids love that because I'm like, I didn't get the candy corns. I'm like, I don't have the candy corns. So that one was a really good one. And you could do that. I mean, yeah, any fall. And they play along with it. They thought it was funny and they thought they were pumpkins. So you just have to sell the idea and just make it fun for them and they believe you.
What grade did you do that with?
I did that with first and kindergarten.
Wow. See,
Yeah.
I do like bridge stuff with second grade, and I feel like they struggle. But man, K and one.
Yeah, so I used popsicle sticks, and I think cups. I think that's all I did. And it was, well, last year they ended up combining bridges. So it was like
Okay.
a giant bridge. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening? But it was fun. I'm like, clean it up at the end. That's fine with me.
We need to see do you have pictures of those?
I do. I have a
We're gonna
video
put that on
because
the
it's
blog.
like a mile long. It doesn't end.
You might have to put that on the blog post because I would love to see that one.
It's cute.
If you can
Yeah.
find it.
So
Yeah, if you can find it.
the Minecraft pumpkins.
Yeah, I love that idea.
So these are in my store. I have like the written plans and examples for all that. And then another one I do with robots, if you're able to do robots, is have kids code the life cycle of a pumpkin or apples, because I know like you might do either one. It goes along with plants if you're doing life cycles, but I have little cards of each stage of the life cycle, and the kit, whatever robots you have, you could really do any of them. They can code the life cycle in order, and I have different challenges that go with that. You can get harder and harder, but that's just a great way to incorporate those life cycles and also coding as well. So there's an unplugged option if they can drag the arrows and do that. But that one's really great. Again, seasonal, great for stations. If you have limited robots, but that one's super low prep. You just print the cards and then you can put them on a grid or not a grid. You can have it randomly in the room, like make it more challenging for the older kids, have the cards in different spots in the room. So it's not as measured out as a grid would be. So just wherever your kids are at, whatever robot. So those are really fun, and just help them learn about the specific vocabulary with those.
All right. And I feel like with coding too, like so much of the time, the misconception, which we'll probably do more episodes about coding and all that stuff, but like doing unplugged activities versus like, because everyone's always like, well, you have to be on the computer and you have to be on this program and this program. But there's so many fun unplugged activities that can just help kids with that basic knowledge of coding. And I think the kids enjoy it so much more.
Yeah, and it's harder than they think. Like I've even printed those out before, and the kids, like even older kids, like, wow, this is hard. It's like a puzzle. Like you have to think what a turn would look like. So you have like a stagnant character, especially if it's printed out. So what would a right-hand turn look like? What step would that be? So it's really high level thinking, those unplugged activities. So if you go that route.
Yes, for sure. So we hope you enjoyed all these different, activities we're talking about. And obviously you probably won't be able to do them all, but we just hope that you take in consideration, if you haven't used STEM, maybe this is the time to do it. Or maybe if, you've only done a couple activities, maybe this is a time where you try it again and really push your students to think in new and innovative ways. So if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram for our update journeys in our classrooms and what we're doing. That way you do not miss out on all the new podcast episodes. And also, if you're loving what we're doing, check out our Patreon for exclusive content. The best part about Patreon is there is exclusive content for our Patreon club, but there's also just general stuff on there. If you follow us and want to be part of that community, we would absolutely love to have you. Thank you so much for listening today, Innovative Teachers. We will see you in the next episode. I paused. Oh.